Hello, brothers and sisters of light and dark. Welcome to my page, my YouTube, in which I talk about common sense. I try to keep it down under nitty gritty, under 10 minutes. If it goes over 10 minutes, if it's something that means it's something very important. And not important to liberals, libertards, people who believe in God, people who like to smoke, people who like to drink, people who like ayahuasca, people who like DMT, and people who are literally just like everyone else who are following the sheep's to slams, the sheep's clothing, wolves, the sheep's clothing, they're to slaughter. Alright, yeah. If you have any comments, questions, insults, or respects, you put it down below. Now, before I go to bed tonight, I'm going to talk about something which I saw on the internet about, is it wise from this I think he was like a psychologist or something. He was saying how mobile phones are dangerous for children, and I disagree. But it is dangerous for relationships, okay? But I know I made a video about women and the mobile phone, especially if she's from another country. But let me make this very clear. If what I learned that the mobile device is very addictive, but it depends on how you're using it, what you're using it for. Like my wife, she got addicted to the phone. Well, I call it Mobile Monster. Yeah, I remember that video now. It was called Mobile Monster. Okay, and you may bring out an addiction to the phone, and it can cause a lot of problems in your relationship. So, if you're in a relationship, I'm not gonna get off the subject here. I'm gonna tell you how dangerous a phone can be, and also how beneficial it can be to children. However, um, for my wife, who came from Ethiopia, who was a virgin, of course, I am Alpha, one of the rare guys who believe in a true men only mess with virgins. Okay, um, I thought my wife would most likely not be distracted by the phone. I thought she would use it more beneficial to use it for educational purposes, like I do, research. You don't have I don't have a ton of books in my house, so I just use the internet to research things. I use my time wisely to look up things that I need, but I don't spend my time all day on the phone. Okay, but my wife, she just looks at it because it's like a waste of time. She needs religious insight. She's kind of depressed and she's also sensitive, so she needs some sort of attention. Okay, so other than that, I saw a weakness in her, which I told her. I said, hey, you can use the phone, but don't just watch one thing. There's a lot of people who watch the same things over and over. I don't do that. I'm very versatile on what things I look for, but then at the same time, I take a break. The phone is equivalent to pretty much everything electronic. So as soon as you get off the phone, you may want to play a video game like I do. I'm a gamer as well. Even if you're reading a book, it's the same thing. Reading a book, taking a break from the phone, because they're the same. You're just more visualizing. It's just more visual when you're using the phone. There's a lot of little tidbits of technology on the phone which will keep you extra distracted rather than just reading the book. But I as well go outside. I go into the sun. I work out, okay? So I know how to bide my time appropriately. Like a lot of people tend to use the internet for the same purposes over and over again. Never something new. I'll ask a person, hey, why don't you just look up the origins of religion? They don't want to do it. Why don't you look up the purpose, origins of this, or the origins of that? They don't want to do it. They don't want to do it. They get stuck in one zone. When I see my daughter, okay, let me tell you the difference between a woman, an adult woman, versus a child. Okay, let's talk about that. Since I brought my wife from Ethiopia, she never had the chance to have full internet connection. So now she's addicted to the phone, and it caused our relationship to. I caused the relationship to crumble because I just wanted to see her weaknesses. I use dark psychology. So I told her that you can use the phone because I could have easily just took the phone from her because it's a privilege. And I said, okay, you want to either listen to the thing, you want to try to be compatible with me, or you just want to be the phone. She chose the phone, so I said, okay. Obviously, I'm too interesting enough, not interesting enough to her for her to keep in track with me. But of course, it's gonna fade in time, and she's gonna regret it. So I just told her that, and she just won't listen until the time is right. When she gets older and the years go by, she'll learn she made a terrible mistake. But it's okay. Now, with children, however, let me go back to what I said. If you have a relationship and she's on the phone and your girlfriend's on the phone, I've talked to hundreds of females who had their phone on standby mode, didn't want to turn it off and shit like that. You automatically know she's not your type. Let's just keep it clear. I don't care what her. If she got kids, you already know not to deal with women with kids unless it's a business contract, okay? But usually when the female has her phone on standby and it's always ringing or some shit like that, she's not interested in you. Okay, you gotta turn that shit off because most guys don't usually have their phone on when they're trying to take a female out on a date. But I stopped taking women out on dates. Okay, she gotta start paying you. That's what I teach. She paying you if you're a quality man. Okay. Now when it comes to children, however, I'm at the 5 minute mark here. My daughter has learned so much on the internet that even shocked me. She went another way. I tell my daughter all the time, always learn something on the internet. Never look at one thing. My daughter know how to edit. I didn't show her how to edit anything using using Likey and TikTok. She learns these things on her own. And I said that you're going on the path of righteousness. You're going to be rich by doing these things. I encourage my daughter to learn more and try to do a lot of modifications to things. She likes video games, and I guess she has my genes. But she learned some things that I did not learn in my life. And then I know she doesn't, she know how to write and she know how to speak very clear English amazingly without me even doing anything. More likely so, the phones can be beneficial to certain types of children, but most children, you got to watch out for that. Okay, so I believe that it depends on genetics. This is a thing I'm talking about. This is different from if you're in a relationship with a female who already has a phone already on and she don't use it for anything else besides socializing. But there are some children and some people in general. Most of the time, if you think about children, it's beneficial if they're on the right path to learning. Okay, they're learning something on the phone, and that can actually help their reflexes. Me, I learned how to drive through video games, just playing on a big screen. On these phones I'm playing, I don't play very big gigabyte games on my phone. I don't do that. I just use it for simply research and streaming and stuff, and that's therapeutic to me. And I told my daughter there's many things you can do with a phone and a computer, all electronic devices. Okay, it really doesn't matter. Even if it's a book, it's just external media. External media is the same thing as using devices to me. Okay, because you're being distracted by something, and it's not really a bad thing, but don't do it too much. And especially if the child is doing something that seems to be not educating or benefiting the child, then you got to watch it. Okay, just be careful of your child. Most people's genes are not very high, so they're not intuitive enough to seek out things to learn. So my daughter looks on things at the internet. She even asks me questions. I said that the most smartest person in the world is the most curious. Curiosity kills the cat only when you don't do nothing about the cat. Okay, all right. So you're curious. You learn about it on your phone. Talk to Google. Okay, Google Navy or something like that. You can learn a lot just by communicating. If you're confused about something, ask Daddy, and then you can ask the computer. That's a good thing. People can learn. I learned how to be. I desensitized myself. I learned how to be desensitized to a lot of things like blood and gore and stuff like that. When I watch crazy movies, videos on the internet, I learn things when I use mobile devices and other technologies and also other external media sources. So there is a benefit effect and there is a negative effect upon those who don't use it the correct way. Okay, so just watch your children as they learn on the internet. What are they learning? Make sure you teach them the difference between reality and what's real. Make sure you understand that you should always tell them the truth, that there is no God unless you pray to that God to come down. And this is why I don't make my videos to the masses. Okay, my videos are very peculiar and very different and eccentric. And I don't want my daughter's pretty bubbly too, so she learned all that on the internet, and I'm shocked. So be careful how you listen to people who have no experience or who you may think is a psychologist but really are not. But overall, in general, mobile devices are bad overall for most people. Okay, all right. So let's get that clear. I just want to make that very clear. Peace and love to you, brothers and sisters of light and double up to my page. Unless your child has good genetics just like you, and you're inquisitive, and you're curious, and you like to learn, it can be beneficial. But most people are not interested in education. Got it? Peace.